outside of trucks, compact SUVs are the best-selling segment in the U.S. You probably see plenty of them out on the road, and as a matter of fact, CR-V and RAV4 added up to about 1 million sales in any given year.
But there are 14 total options in this segment, and today we're going to be going through the sales figures of all 14. The sales don't lie, so who's going to be the winner? Let's go ahead and find out. Now let's go ahead and start with the losers of the segment. These are the worst selling 5 options in the compact SUV segment. Now, do keep in mind they do sell pretty well still overall because this is a very hot segment, but they are the Mitsubishi Outlander, the Mazda CX-50, the GMC Terrain, and the Volkswagen Tiguan, as well as the Ford Bronco Sport. Those are our worst-selling 5 options on this list. Now, a couple things to talk about here. The Outlander is by far the worst selling on this list, although it does actually have quite a lot of merits. We've talked about that in previous reviews and stuff. It is definitely a forgotten option in this segment. It only sold 45,000 units, and the next worst selling, the Mazda CX-50, is nearly double that.
Yeah, which is very interesting. And of course, the CX-50, that's also a product that's pretty new from Mazda. The hybrid, though, just now came out, so that's the wild card, is going into 2025. I think we're going to see a big sales improvement because having that extra hybrid powertrain really, we thought, was a really good addition.
Now, moving on from that, we have what I call the average sellers in the segment. These are not the best selling, but they're also far from the worst selling, and they still sell in quite a good number, that's for sure. And that is going to be starting out with the Mazda CX-5. No, it's not a typo. There is 2 different models, the CX-5, the Ford Escape, the Kia Sportage, and the Subaru Forester in that order right there.
Yeah, and just kind of getting into a couple of those, like Mason was saying, the CX-5 and the CX-50 are sold side by side. In a way, the CX-50 was kind of almost the successor to the CX-5, but they've been on sale together for all these years that they've been out, and continually, the CX-5 is better selling than the CX-50. We'll see if that changes now that the new hybrid is out on the CX-50, but it sells quite a lot more when it comes to that.
Yeah, 134,000 units compared to 81. Yeah. That's almost double as much on a way older product. Now, as far as the sales on the Ford Escape, that's a solid performer, 146,000 units this year. The Kia Sportage sold 161,000, and I do want to point out the Sportage is due for an update, so that's very good sales, especially as we'll be updating it in 2026, likely. And then the Subaru Forester had a very solid year, 175,000 units. It's worth noting that the all-new model just came out. I believe it was in May and June was when it started arriving at dealerships, so that's a very strong sales performance for having the all-new one for basically only half the year. If you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
And if you want to know about all the latest and greatest rides, then make sure to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the newest cars. Now let's get into the top 5 best selling. This is where the numbers really start to rise rapidly. And the first one is going to be the Hyundai Tucson. So it sold 206,000 units last year. That is a really good performance for that model. It's been increasing really rapidly over the past several years. And the thing to note about the Tucson is that it got a heavy refresh, but that really wasn't available until fall. So it's only been on sale for a very short amount of time at the end of 2024. So that might even increase it further going into 2025.
I suspect it will, because they actually made a lot more improvements than what you would just look at on the outside. It doesn't look that different, but on the inside it's basically completely new. Now, moving on to the 4th bestseller in the compact segment, that's going to be the Chevy Equinox. Now, in 2024, it sold 207,000 units in the U.S. Now, That's a very solid performance, that's for sure. Now, I do want to point something out. A lot of times, Chevy does include fleet sales in their overall units, so that is something to consider. Probably not all of those are going to be retail sales. However, the all-new Equinox came out over the summer, and I think that is going to be a sales hit for the brand. It is packing a lot of technology in the cabin, and all of that is pretty much standard equipment. So even on the more basic end, when it comes to pricing for around $30,000, you're going to get a lot of standard features and a lot of really good technology, which I think will further increase these sales next year.
Now, sitting in the number 3 slot with a jump of about 40,000 sales, we've got the Nissan Rogue. So its total sales are 245,000. And despite, of course, a lot of headlines about Nissan's struggles these days, the Rogue continues to be a very strong performer in the U.S. market. It's long been a popular option. It's still their best-selling model. And it's got a lot of merits and things that you would like to look at when you're buying a compact SUV. That's why it continues to be very popular. The fuel economy is fantastic. The cabin's well finished. The technology they've enhanced recently. And they've really been keeping it quite fresh.
All right, things are heating up. What's our number 2 bestseller in the segment? Well, that's going to be the Honda CR-V. You can probably look around and maybe see one wherever you're at right now because they sold a lot of them last year, 402,000 units. If you're keeping track mathematically, that's about 150,000 more than the Nissan Rogue. That is a massive jump over the 3rd bestseller. Now, apparently, people are showing that they don't mind it not having vented seats or a panoramic moonroof or a little bit of a smaller screen than some of the other rivals because this thing is selling in droves and its popularity is just increasing year over year. Honda actually said that over 50% of their sales, or right around the 50% mark, were hybrids as well. So that's certainly something worth noting. I think the CR-V is really a solid choice. We've reviewed it several times, and it's easy to see why so many families pick it.
Yeah, absolutely. Super, super easy to live with and just well-rounded and extremely spacious. And speaking of well-rounded, that takes us to the number 1 spot. You probably guessed it, honestly. It's not that surprising. It's the Toyota RAV4. So somehow they managed to outsell the CR-V and add another about 75,000 units to that. So 475,000 is where we're setting at for the RAV4. It's absolutely incredible how many of these are sold. And it's simply just because it has something for everybody. This is a vehicle where you can pick different powertrains based on what you need. You can pick all these different trim levels that can give you different balances of luxury features, off-road capability, all different kinds of things. It's just kind of a universally good SUV, basically, that can match to almost anybody's lifestyle.
Yep, that's why it lands in the number 1 slot and has for quite some time. And guess what? We're pretty much due for an all-new one here soon. So I'm honestly expecting the sales to just continue going up when they get that model out. But guys, we hope you found this video helpful in the sales in the US for the compact SUV segment. If you did, we'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. If you're already a part of our family, we appreciate your continued support. And if you're looking to buy any of the vehicles on this list, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation and can help the dealers to start competing on price. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. Additionally, I do want to point out that we have ranked all of these 14 options objectively based on all of the important categories for buyers in this compact SUV segment. So if you want to check that video out and see which one is the best, not just the best selling to buy, be sure to check that video out as well. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.